Did you know that northern lights are a type of polar aurora? In this video from the Daily Eco, we delve into the fascinating world of polar lights. What are polar auroras and their types? Polar auroras belong to a category known as electrometeors, which are visible manifestations of atmospheric electricity. Other examples of electrometeors include lightning and St. Elmo's fire. Polar auroras, therefore, are luminous phenomena that display various colors and shapes in the night sky. There are two types of auroras: the aurora borealis, also known as northern lights, and the aurora australis, also known as southern lights. Northern lights. The aurora borealis, also known as the northern glow or northern lights, occurs in the northern hemisphere. Some of the best countries to witness this breathtaking phenomenon are Sweden, Norway, Finland, Canada, Alaska, and Iceland. The prime time for viewing is during the fall season of the northern hemisphere, spanning from the end of September to the end of March. The aurora australis, also referred to as the southern glow or southern lights, takes place in the southern hemisphere. Essentially, the northern lights and the southern lights are the same phenomenon occurring in different hemispheres. Countries such as New Zealand, Australia, Argentina, and Antarctica offer excellent opportunities to observe the southern lights. The likelihood of observing them increases the further south you go, and the optimal viewing period is typically between March and September. Where do polar auroras occur in the atmosphere? They are concentrated between 60 and 75 degrees latitude, forming oval shapes around the magnetic poles in the northern and south, which are slightly offset from the geographic poles. The vertical extension of polar auroras can reach up to 1,000 kilometers. More specifically, polar auroras take place in the ionosphere. It is within the ionosphere that ionization occurs, leading to the formation of ions, as well as the presence of abundant free electrons. But before we continue, here's a question for you. Do polar auroras exist on other planets? Yes, no. Take your time to think about it, because at the end of the video you can check if you were right. How are polar auroras formed? The formation of auroras is closely linked to the solar wind, meaning that the solar wind and polar auroras are interconnected. The solar wind is a stream of charged particles, including electrons and protons, constantly emitted by the sun in all directions. It is most intense during solar storms. These particles become trapped by the Earth's magnetic field and are directed towards the poles, where they collide with atoms and molecules in the upper atmosphere, predominantly nitrogen and oxygen. These collisions cause the electrons within the oxygen and nitrogen atoms to temporarily move to higher energy states, known as energy excitation. Eventually, they return to their normal energy levels, releasing the accumulated energy in the form of light. The shapes and colors of the polar auroras. Polar auroras exhibit a variety of shapes, including bands, arches, curtains, and sheets, accompanied by an array of colors. The predominant hue is green or yellowish green, while other colors such as red, blue, and violet can also be observed. The specific colors observed depend on the chemical elements present in the atoms that interact with the charged particles of the solar wind. Additionally, the altitude at which these interactions occur plays a role. Oxygen emissions produce green auroras below 200 kilometers in altitude, while at higher altitudes they produce reddish hues. Nitrogen, on the other hand, emits blue and violet light at an altitude of approximately 120 kilometers. Now, going back to the question we asked you before, have you thought it through? The correct answer is A. Yes, polar auroras do exist on other planets within our solar system. Gas giants like Saturn and Jupiter possess vast atmospheres and powerful magnetic fields, resulting in magnificent polar auroras. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to give us a like or subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you next time!